That's a bucket and a foul. Breakaway. Io.
Oh, meet me at the rim and don't be late.
Give me the hot sauce. Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Oh, loose ball. Gimme. The steal. Right for the lead. Yeah.
Big time play. Big time play.
Gimme for the win. Go!
My God. I cannot believe this.
Improbable.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into a brand new edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. Stacey King alongside, and look who showed up. Tim Kelley is back. Tell us about your travels the last couple of weeks.
Oh, it's been 5 weeks straight, Mark, and I'm a bit tired, but I'm here. I made it.
You know, we congratulated you profusely the last couple of weeks from your award from Harvard. Tell us, people were asking exactly what that was. What did you accomplish at
How
Harvard?
much did it cost you to get that degree?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
So it's about $50K, and
Wow.
yeah, so Master of Healthcare Administration, and
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations. Seriously.
you.
No, we were pubbing you up.
Yeah.
well, you know what they say, you can always tell a Harvard guy, you just can't tell him much.
Wow. Okay, that is true. I heard that before.
Yeah, so it's
No,
a true saying.
we're really proud of you, man. Like seriously, we were really disappointed that you weren't here.
But for
You know, do we have
posterity's sake.
those pictures of Tim real quick to show the audience what he looked like getting his diploma?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Tim was warm. He was hot under the collar.
Yeah, his face was red.
You need
There
a
he
little-
look. There he
little
is.
powder.
There he is, Larry the Lobster. He's about as red as the diploma. Look at
I had those
Harvard Crimson.
There it
So is
is.
the skin.
look
Yeah.
at there he is right there.
Yeah.
Looking
my
dapper.
professors.
And all those other people are like,
Now,
who's this guy we're taking a picture
Who are
with?
those guys,
Those
Tim?
are all doctors at Harvard Medical School. So they're
Nice.
professors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You could post up all those guys.
That's true. I look like a giant, don't I?
What was what was your experience going back to get this particular degree? What made you decide to go back to do that? Because sometimes a lot of people don't want to go back to school, especially at the age that you are.
Yeah, it was for posterity's sake for sure, but it was about the network. It was, being in the medical field, and this is from Harvard Medical School, and so that network of doctors, because that's who I communicate with.
And it
on a
helps you
daily
in
basis.
business, certainly.
Yeah, and just kind of elevate the profile. But other than that, there's really no reason to go at all.
Yeah.
But then you can always, when you're at the bar with people, you can always throw the Harvard grad. You can slam it on the table like dominoes.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Then you get an email, a Harvard email for life, and all that stuff. So it's,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
kinda
wow.
cool.
Well, congrats. We're happy to have you
Congratulations,
back.
man.
And
Yeah.
we're also happy to have back a guy who was on the show a couple of years ago, teammate of Stacey King's. He attended the Harvard of the West, the University of San Francisco. Bill Cartwright, kind enough to join us. Bill's joining us from Sacramento. Thank you so much. I'm sure all Bulls fans are wondering how you're doing, what you've been up to these days.
As a matter of fact, it's funny, but I still do some work for the Harvard
Mhm.
of the West,
Yep.
University of San Francisco. I'm director of initiatives in school. So I'm still around, and also we can still get our international students in, unlike Harvard.
I like that.
Touche.
That's true. Fortunately, I was only from Chicago, so it was easy.
Yeah.
Bill, how is it, in your time working back at San Francisco, how is it being back after being there as a student and being a legend and basketball player there? How was it you going back and being part of the university? How did that make you feel? What did you feel when you went back?
Well, it was great. I mean, and this was interesting, Stace, because when we were in school, when I was in school, there was a really high academic standard, and not only a sports standard, but now these guys, athletically and academically, they're really off the charts. So we wanted to be really great athletes. We wanted to be good students. Now these guys want to be great at everything. So it's kind of scary with these guys. They've got like 3 or 4 guys who are 4.0 students.
Wow.
On our team. They're just brilliantly smart. I wish they were nastier, which would help me out a lot more. But they're just, our standards for our school are just more aligned. So it's just really great to be around them. And, just to be around students. Those guys have energy. Although when they get on the video games, and they're on their phones, I'm lost. What are you doing over there?
Yep. I
But
feel you.
there's just a different level of student down here. There's a different level of athlete, and it's a different mentality. I think when we were playing, we were a little more direct, a little nastier, and they just played differently. So it's more me trying to understand them than vice versa.
Stacey always jokes that he'd be a very rich man if he was in the NIL era. How much could Bill Cartwright have commanded with this NIL thing? It's crazy how it's really turned the world of college basketball upside down.
It has, but you know what? Everybody's in the same boat, and the good part about it is there's more students than there are teams. So you just have to be selectively. It's just like picking up a free agent. You don't want to overpay, but what happens a lot of times they do, and that's why you see all these transfers happen every year with this portal action, where there's thousands of kids in the portal every year. Even the good teams. So, I mean, we've lost a couple players who were starters to other teams to move on to have a lesser role, but they're making twice as much money. So it's really tricky to be able to keep those guys. And I don't know, States. If somebody's making 400 and then they can get 800 somewhere else, would you leave as a 19-year-old? Yeah.
I mean, I have a nephew that's playing in Division I, and we've had this discussion. And what I've tried to explain to him is he's a freshman, just finished his freshman year. What I've tried to explain to him, Bill, is that the grass is not always greener on the other side. You know, you could be here in a perfect situation where you're getting the minutes, the offense is built around you, you can do your thing. It doesn't guarantee just because you go for an extra $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 that's going to happen at the new place you go, because you're going to have to reestablish yourself, and maybe you're not in the rotation. Maybe they don't use you like you were being used at your other school. So you have to be very careful and do your due diligence in studying the programs that you're thinking about going to and the one you're leaving, because I would prefer, if I'm a starter and I'm getting as many shots as I want, the money's going to be there somewhere down the line at some point, whether it be the professional rank, but I'm putting myself in position in the long term more than short term.
Yeah, well, you're seeing that practically, and the problem is that you're 19,
Yep.
20 years old, and now you're doubling your salary. So you're telling me for double the money, $800,000 stays.
Bill, let me just tell you this. First of all, I would have never been in that predicament because I would have been making $5 million right out the box, okay? So we're not even having this discussion about Stacey King, because I'd have been making $5 million. Unless you're going to top $5 million, we're not even talking. You know, don't come and tell me we'll give you 3.5 and no, I'm making $5 million at the University of Oklahoma. Bill, I was in the NIL program before they actually had it at Oklahoma, okay? Now the statute of limitations, I can say that now. I took a pay cut when I got to the NBA. I was disappointed. I wanted to stay in school about 3 more years. I was making more money in college than I did in the pros.
There's a King slush fund at Oklahoma.
I'm sorry, NCAA. It's too late to get me now, baby. You can't do nothing.
Bad things, you didn't share the wealth with anybody.
Bill, that's uncalled for. See, that's how friendships end right there, buddy. Okay? I got some jealous friends. I had some jealous friends back in the day at school. I tried to give them as much as I can. I took them out to dinner, took them to Taco Bell. Buy one taco, get 10 free. I did all those things, Bill. Okay? I took care of my teammates, man. You stop that.
Yeah, well, only thing I got at USF was a fine Catholic education.
And you know what? I was gonna say, because like even back in your day, you know, did you guys have boosters?
Of course we have boosters.
Okay, Bill.
But we did it the right way. We when you have boosters, you get jobs. Now, what kind of jobs are there? If they're hard jobs, probably not.
No.
Depends
your stature, though. It depends on your stature on the team. If you're like Bill Cartwright, an All-American Player of the Year candidate, you ain't doing nothing hard. You turning on sprinklers. You know, you walking out, getting the mail to the president's office and delivering it, and you're done for the day, and you made $20 for an hour, and they clocked you for $8. So you're making money. But my first year in the league, I wasn't on that All-American list yet. I wasn't on that All-Conference. They had me working construction. Hey, listen, I'm out there digging ditches. I'm digging ditches so deep I thought I was going to run into the devil. That's how deep I was down in the ground. That Oklahoma rake clay dirt. And I went to my coach, Bill. I said, hey, coach, going into my sophomore year, think I can get a better job this summer? You know what he told me, Bill? He said, hey, are you All-American? I said, no. He said, you All-Conference? I said, no. You on the Olympic team? I said, no. He said, well, you're doing construction. And I did construction 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row, Bill. It was the worst labor I've ever done, but it built character. It built character.
So let me ask you, what was your junior year like? What was your job then?
Well, let me tell you. As soon as the season was over, we got back from the Final Four. He approached me. I didn't have to approach him this time, Bill. He came to me and said, hey, little daddy, what do you want to do this summer? I said, I want to be on that Wayman Tisdale plan. And everybody knew what the Wayman Tisdale plan, the late, great Wayman Tisdale. I'm telling you, he was one of the reasons why I came to University of Illinois. He had he had his own place. You know those residence inns? You know how those residence inns used to be when, he had one of those before they're actually residence inn. They were actually like places where people could rent to play golf on golf courses and stuff like that. He had one of those. Double, 2-story place. He had a big screen TV. My TV that I grew up watching, we had to change with a pliers, and we had coat hangers as antennas. He had the big projection screen TV, like 80 inches, is huge, and I had never seen anything like that. And he drove an Eldorado, and he never worked. He didn't have to do any summer jobs. And I remember we drove in front of the girls' dormitory, and he said, "Watch this," and he honks his car. And like hundreds of girls are out the window. Wait. He got me right then and there. I'm coming. I don't need to see nothing else. I don't need to talk to Billy Tubbs. I don't need to talk to anybody. I seen what I need to see. I'm coming to University of Oklahoma. And he told me, he said, if you do this, you're All-American, you can get all this. And my first 2 years, I didn't think it was going to happen. I was like, man, I might have went to the wrong school. I'm working construction, Bill. Hot, coming in with dirt on me. I had to take 4 baths in one day just to get it all off me. Turn around, do it again. 4:30 in the morning. Oh, Lord. Humbling.
So let me ask you, what was your first car? Wayman had an Eldorado. What'd you
Oh,
have?
no. The first car, my dad made, my dad was awesome. He was a military man. He bought my older 2 brothers their first car. They had sweet cars, Trans Am. They had Lincoln Continental sweet cars, brand new. When I came along, it was time for me to buy a car, and they didn't have to work for it. So when I come along, like, hey, Pops, it's time to get that car, right? He's like, what job you got? I said, what do you mean? He said, you got to work for that car. And I'm like, man, I'm playing ball. I got AAU. How am I going to be working and doing AAU at the same time? And my dad was military, so he got me a job in the mess hall on the base. So washing pots and pans and, So I bought my first car. I saved all my money. I saved like $4,000, and he paid the other $6,000, and I ended up getting a Ford Thunderbird. It was my first car I ever got. It was white with the maroon top, rag top. They had an 8-track tape. I ended up switching that and putting in cassette tape. I had to upgrade it. Threw on some wheels. It was a pride and joy. I love that car. It was my first car. It was like a 70. It was like a 79. It was sweet too. Really good condition. I let my older brother drive it, and he got the door knocked off of the first month I had it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He drives it back. He drives it back to campus. I told my mom. She asked, "Hey, baby, can you let Ed borrow your car?" I'm like, no, something's gonna happen to it. She said, "No, he's got to come home and let his car's in the shop." And I reluctantly let my brother use the car. It comes back. He got plastic where the driver's door used to be. He got plastic on that side, and he's crawling out of the passenger side. And he just drops my car off and act like I'm not gonna see that. You're not even gonna tell me. I'm out there looking. I said, man, something different about my car. I'm looking around there. I see this plastic on there. I said, oh. I asked him what happened. I was at the bingo parlor, and the truck I left the door open by mistake, and the truck hit it.
Why would you leave the door open by
Exactly,
mistake?
because you know what? He wasn't thinking, Mark. And that was the last time he ever borrowed a car from me, ever.
Bill, this must bring back memories of being a teammate of Stacey's. You never get a word in edgewise. I mean, we bring you on. You're kind enough to join us. You don't even get to talk.
Bill started this. He's asked me these questions.
Who's interviewing you?
What's really interesting is that nothing's changed. It's exactly the same. So I got to give him credit for that.
I'm still the same person, Bill.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The same, exactly the same.
You know what's really exciting? Like to do this show, it enables me to bring in all my teammates. Like I brought in everybody that I played with from the Bulls, and it's so great because we don't get to see each other as often as we probably should, unless there's some event and we come to town, we're all together. But I tell you, man, when I get any of you guys together, it feels like we're on the bus, we're in the locker room again. It just brings back so many good memories and laughter and all the things that we shared on those teams.
Yeah, it is great. And, the interesting thing is that, and I've had a ton of different teammates, I'm still close with my high school teammates,
Yep.
college, all those conversations are really long. So if you get on the phone with a teammate, you're going to be there a while. You might as well just put the phone down, put it on speaker. You're going to be talking for a long time. You asked me a question about the University of San Francisco, and of course, basketball's changed. And usually to start the season, I'm able to get my opinion in because, of course, I am not a fan of all these three-point shots and this crazy stuff that goes on. But once a year, we go to lunch with the coach, and we say, hey, when am I going to get my post-ups? When am I going to get it in? So let me ask you a question. Now, you won 3 championships, played in the NBA for a long time. Has anybody from the Bulls organization ever come up to you and say, hey, Stacey, you play on some championship teams. How do you think we're going to win a championship here in Chicago? Has anybody ever asked you that question?
I talked to Billy Donovan quite a bit during the season. Like, he'll ask me what I see, with the team, like on the defensive end, where can he get better? The communication that we talked about with Zach, they were having some communication breakdowns, and we've talked about that and how it could be better as a player, how I see it compared to how a coach sees it. You're going to see it 2 different ways. And because I played, he respects that. And so we've had some very interesting conversations, but it's really funny because Bill, we're so caught up. This league, NBA, is a copycat league anyway. It's always been that way. Everybody would have copied what we did, but they couldn't run the triangle because they didn't know how to run it. But they took pieces of the triangle, and even to this day, you see pieces of the triangle, whether it be a fist side set or whether it be pinch post action or reverse action off the blind pig. They're taking little bits of pieces. They don't want to run it because we don't want to run it because Phil Jackson. There's this ego thing, but they take little pieces of it. So it's a copycat league, and everybody wants to do what Golden State did. We want to shoot all these threes. Steph Curry and these guys win a lot of games. The more shots they got up, the more opportunities, the better chance they had to win. But my argument has always been with these analytic people, there's a place for analytics, but I don't think it should be where everything is based off of what they think, because you still have to play the game. You still have to eye test. You still can see who can do what plays work, what plays don't work. And when you're out there shooting 53s and you only hit 8 to 10 of them, that's telling me right there you're not a good three-point shooting team. Maybe you should adjust a little bit. Instead of shooting 50, maybe knock that down to maybe 25 to 30 and then hit more mid-range shots, get to the free throw line more. So it's interesting to hear these guys talk about their philosophies and why the 3 ball is so important, and to me, it's just like, man, especially in the playoffs, when I'm sure you've been watching the playoff series, Joker is one of the best post-up guys in the league when he decides to post up. You got Alex Caruso, and I love Alex Caruso, very good defensive player, but tell me what you would have done, Bill Cartwright, if Alex Caruso was on you, and let's say you didn't get the ball every single time down the trail. You didn't get that ball. You had a clear mismatch. You're not going to sit at the 3-point line where he has an advantage. You're going to roll his little butt right into the paint, pin him on your back, free cheese, mouse in the house, and we're going to throw the ball in there and you're going to just abuse him. The game has changed.
Well, that's and that's the problem is for us, it looks like nonsense. So there's a switch. Now anybody can switch. A point guard can switch. If there is a point guard anymore, they can switch on a big, and they're going to go behind your back, between your legs, shoot a kickstand, 20-foot shot, like a good shot. So we would just throw it right down and just punish people, let alone being in the penalty. Why not take the ball to the basket? So it's just it's not only a different game, it's bad basketball. That's why it's not fun for us old guys to watch basketball because it doesn't make sense. You're in the penalty, you're going to attack. Your guy who's guarding you has a foul, you're going to attack him. You're going to put guys in situations where it's going to be really uncomfortable. They switch everything now. Switch everything. And why not? It's everything is, these guys guard themselves. They stand on top of the floor. It's not going to make sense to us. And why? Because it doesn't make sense. It's nonsense. So, but it's what they're doing right now. And you just got to take what's good. Players are great. Players are athletic. Players are really exciting to watch play. That part's good. So, just like if you're playing against Indiana, when they're in transition, they're a nightmare.
Yeah.
Just like OKC, in transition, they're a nightmare. Get them into the half court. They're going to struggle, just like Indiana did. They're going to struggle in the half court because they got no offense.
Yep.
So, or not no offense. Their offense is not very diverse. And it doesn't have to be a big down there. Where's Adrian Danley?
Yeah.
Mark Jackson used to post up. Anybody can post up. If there's a mismatch, it's just the offense is just not very diverse. It's exciting, but it's just not very diverse. So that's why you're seeing all these 20-point leads at halftime, 30-point leads in the third quarter. That never happened.
No.
It's just insanity. So, but it is what it is. And my youngest son tells me, just be quiet. You're an old guy. So, and he's probably right. It's just what it is. And you just try to enjoy it, watch it, and see what happens.
Hey, Bill, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on was to talk about the book you wrote, Bill Cartwright, Living Life at the Center. What was your motivation? I understand that. Yeah.
Hey, can I before we get into this with his reading, can I get a copy of the book autographed to me?
Oh, of course.
Okay. All right. Don't have your assistant write it and misspell my name. Okay. I want you to write it handheld. I want it to come from you, sir. Okay, so I can put it in my collection.
Yeah, I think I gave it to BJ to send to you, but he never.
Nah, you know what? Don't trust the kid, man. You know what? Yeah, I caught a kid, and it takes me like 10 calls to finally get a hold of him. Hey, man, I meant to call you back. That was 2 years ago, buddy. I called you like in 2023. What, you just getting back to me in 2025? Wow.
Well, no, we're gonna definitely get that book to you.
All right, good.
I want you to enjoy it. My book's about my journey. A lot of it's about my dad, the vision he had. My dad was from Texas. He knew there was nothing there. He grew up in Jim Crow law, so couldn't own anything. So his biggest joy was going to California and being able to work and have his own stuff. My mom was from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She had the same vision, go to California and start a life there. So that's where they met. And as you know, I grew up on a ranch, so we had to work growing up, plant, harvest, irrigate, all that stuff. The only fun thing about it is that I could drive a tractor and a truck and a harvester, by the time I was 12 years old.
Yep. So
that was fun. The bad part is that my dad's like, you're about 6 foot tall at 12 years. You could probably work. So that was the good and bad of it. But it just talks about the journey of learning and, being basically a kid from the ranch that we could have anything we wanted by just working harder than everybody. And I was just very fortunate to have great parents, great siblings, uh, really motivated coaches, especially in high school. We were the number one team in Sacramento growing up. When I was a senior, it was like a Hoosiers kind of story. We're
Yeah.
in Oakland Coliseum, Elk Grove High School's in Oakland Coliseum, and we're playing against the big city schools, and we won Northern California championship. There was only Northern and Southern then, and then with the USF. Uh, I don't know if you know this, but my sophomore year, we were the number one team in the country
Yeah.
most of the year. So just very, very lucky to be in this situation. And then now after I get drafted, I'm playing with Earl Monroe in New York City. My first coach is Red Holzman. I'm playing against Daryl Dawkins. You're fortunate you never got to play against that sucker.
I know.
Animal. And so now I'm playing against him. I'm playing against artists. Here comes Bob Lanier. Here comes Dave Cowens. Here comes Cream. It's like every single night these guys you got somebody that was a problem. And even playing against Golden State, that had Clifford Ray, who was on the bench there, Robert Parrish, who was mad as hell coming off the bench because he wasn't playing. I told Robert this story about, Robert, you're the first guy in the league my rookie year to take a swing at me. He said, no, I didn't. I was like, yes, you did. You took a swing at me.
Or you hit him with an elbow?
Nah, a full swing. He missed me, but
But why did he swing at you? Did you hit him with an elbow?
well, he started. He elbowed me, so I got him back. So squared off, and we were fine. But I got to know Robert over the years. Robert, he's a good dude, just like Clifford Ray, great guy.
Oh yeah, Clifford Ray's an Oklahoma legend.
Yeah, those guys. And what's interesting is that big guys outside of maybe Cream and Ken Benson, you took really hard fouls, but you never saw an altercation with big guys beating each other up or trying to take a swing at each other. That didn't come along until later on with Crazy Bill Laimbeer. But even that, Bill Laimbeer never really punched anybody. He ran me and tried to slam you to the ground and rustle you. But that wasn't his game. He was more of just trying to get you off your game. So it's kind of, it was just a really interesting time. But just to be in New York and then get traded to the Bulls with the Young Bucks, to have that journey, that was a different experience. Do you know that I was the old guy on that team, Stace? So
yes, we know. We know that.
Yeah. So you know how old I was?
Huh?
You know how old I was, right?
You were in your 30s, it was like 30s, mid-30s?
No, I was like 31 or 32 years old.
Man, I thought you was 40.
But I was the old guy. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You were the oldest guy on the team. Charles Davis is one of the older guys when I first got there as well.
Yeah. So that doesn't seem real old now, does it?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Now that you put it in perspective, that doesn't seem old now. You look at LeBron in his 40s playing.
Exactly. So, but then it was like, oh, hey, he's old. And Stacey would go by and laying on the table. Look at this guy. He's got ice on him.
Hey, funny story. When my rookie year, I never ever iced, right? Bill, every game, every practice, didn't matter. He was in ice, all like snowman, Frosty the Snowman, ankles, knees, elbows, shoulders. And I used to laugh at him, like, I think the teacher's always iced, And he said, hey, I'm going to tell you, a couple of years, you're going to be icing too. And I'm like, you'll never see me with all this ice on. And then before the end of my rookie year, I'm the one there soaking in ice. I'm like, after about 40 games, my body was in ice for the rest of my career in ice. Because I never thought, like in college, we never iced. We never stretched. We just went and played.
Oh, man.
And then we come to the pro game, and man, you got to do all of that because it doesn't seem like it'd be any different. But man, it's a huge difference. I remember after 30 games, my body was ready to shut down because in college you only play like 30 to 35 games. So in the NBA with all the travel and here and going here, man, the practice. And that's another thing, Bill. I tell people like we practice almost daily.
Don't practice at all now.
Now they don't practice at all. It's a totally different game.
What it was all about. But that's what they did back then. And also think about this: those guys. When we played, like training camp, we'd practice twice a day.
Yep, that's what, for 2 weeks.
These guys now, they go maybe once a day, and then it's like a spa. Like
it's exactly like that.
Going over to practice now, it's like a spa in there. It's got weight room. A pool, jacuzzi.
Oh, Starbucks machines. You don't even got to go to Starbucks now. You just get a Starbucks. Right. They got chefs on site cooking food for you. Imagine we had all that stuff back in those days, Bill. Whew.
Yeah, we'd still be there.
We might still be there.
Come and hang out a little bit, but that's just how the league changed, to where, it's not like, 1980 when I was in New York, we practiced at LaGuardia Community College.
Yep.
These guys have their own practice facilities, and it's just a great. My first per diem was, I think we were getting $14 or $15 a day.
Yeah.
And we used to stay at the Days Inn, and we used to eat at Denny's.
That was like some CBA type stuff. That's what I did. When I got here, we was 5-star, Bill. When I got here, we upgraded. Yeah. We got our own jet plane. We were in 5-star Ritz-Carltons. We was getting way more per diem. Y'all, oh boy, y'all was at the Days Inn in the NBA?
That's what the NBA was all 1980.
Wow.
There was no private jets. We flew commercial. So you had to be up at 5 a.m, getting on a bus to get on the plane. So
yeah, I remember that. My first year we did that. First year we flew commercial. My first year here we flew commercial. When I came here in '89, we flew commercial. And remember the chicken?
Yeah. I got to get you a certificate for that chicken.
Hey, I don't know, America, if you don't know this story, there's still statute of limitations on this. I can tell the truth what really happened. So my rookie year, we were playing a game. We had to go fly, I think, to Atlanta. And then, so they sent me out on a chicken run to go get chicken to take to a commercial airline going to O'Hare. Well, there's only like 45 minutes, between 45 minutes to an hour to get dressed, get showered, and get to the plane.
Airport, yeah.
So they knew I wasn't going to make it. I'd only been in Chicago less than 4 months. I didn't know my way around. There used to be a Kentucky Fried Chicken right down the street from the old stadium.
Yeah.
And people stopped in there after games, so it was always like 25, 30 cars. There's no way you can go get chicken. So my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. She's my wife now with my kids. She goes, I said, we got to find a chicken place. And I don't know where to go because this KFC is booked. And if I don't get the chicken, I'm going to get fined by the veterans. And Bill was the main one who sent me on the chicken run. He was the main one. And then everybody else jumped on board and like, yeah, grab me this, give me that. Da, da, da. So I got pissed because I couldn't find the chicken. I'm like, you know what? The hell with this. I'm going home. And then we didn't have cell phones back then. You didn't have pagers and all that stuff to get in contact with you. You just had to call my home. So they're on the runway waiting for me. I deliberately went home, went to bed, got in my bed, slept comfortably. Didn't even think about them waiting for me for an hour or so on the runway. Didn't care. I was still pissed off that they would send me to go get chicken. I was the only rookie. They didn't send BJ. They didn't send Jeff Sanders. They sent me. I was like, okay. Y'all want to play these games? I can play them too. So I went home. The next morning, I called Karen Stack. And I said, I was acting like I was panicked. Oh, Karen. Now, they had left messages. Phil and them left messages on my phone.
Stacey, where are you at? We're at the airport waiting for you. We're not leaving till you. We know you went to go get chicken. We're going to wait for you.
I didn't call him back. I was like, I'm not calling back. So the next morning, I called Karen Stack. Karen Stack, I just got home. It's 6 a.m. I just got home. I went to some place called Stony Island looking for chicken. I got lost. I didn't know how to get back home. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Don't worry about it, Stacey. We're going to get you to Atlanta this morning. We're going to get a flight out this morning. You'll meet the team and shoot around. Boom, boom, boom. I'm over there smiling like a the cat who ate the canary. I know exactly what I went. But then I had to play with the lie. I had to act like I was really lost. I had to go back to these guys and get all the razzing about being lost. There's a video out there. Of these guys talking trash about me missing the flight because of chicken. But now that we're here, America, the truth is, and they can't do nothing about me now. They can't find me. They can't take minutes from me. I skipped it on purpose. I went to bed, slept comfortably in my bed, and got up and caught a flight out the next day and was happy. So, Bill, your little plan didn't work for you, boy. I outsmarted the veterans.
That's just a bad teammate,
Bill, wait a minute, Bill, you were my mentor. You were my man. He's like my father figure. Me and BJ, when we went to this guy, him and Paxson were the two guys, our veteran guys, that always looked out for us, always took care of us, was always like making sure we're getting enough sleep, we're eating right. What are you doing? We be on the road. Where you going? Oh, we're going to the mall. Don't be out too late. You got a game tomorrow. They always were watching out for us, because we were the youngest kids on the team. And he'd invite us over for dinner. Like they just took care of us. So when Bill sent me on the chicken run, that hurt me. I was like, oh, Scotty, Michael, Horace, I can see them doing it. But they got the teach to do it. That was the ultimate betrayal. I was like, he knows damn well I'm not going to be able to go get chicken and then get back to the plane on time. But he said he sent me out there, and that just hurt me. But I didn't hold it against it, though, because I still love Bill. That's still my guy.
I'll have to share this story to Wilbur Dill, because he was sitting out on a chicken run.
Y'all see Will on a chicken run too the year before?
Yes, but he made it back somehow.
Yeah,
so
you know what? Will's a suck up. Will's a suck up. He's gonna make it back.
He's a good teammate.
Because first of all, he's a good teammate because he was the only rookie at that time. There was three of us, and I was the only one that got sent out. How about, hey, all three of you guys, you go get chicken, you go get some sodas, you go get this. No, you go get it. Because I was the highest paid rookie, so they gonna make me go get it.
That's why you got.
And I didn't appreciate that. Then my mentor, my father figure, just it hurt me.
Wow, this is not going to go over well with Will or BJ.
Well, Bill, they got rid of that. There's no more, rookies getting the luggage, rookies doing all the, the leg work, and there's no more of that in the league now. They take that completely out. And I think it's really bad. I think everyone should have to go through, as long as it's not, like dangerous, as long as it's not crazy and overboard. They should have to go get the bags when we're coming off the plane. They should have to go do those things. I think it's a rite of passage. And you weren't a rookie. You weren't done with your rookie year till your first game of the second year. So you had to go through a rookie hazing again through preseason. Yeah. So I think they need to bring that back.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. A lot of these teams, these rookies, are making more than the veterans. So maybe it's if you got drafted in the second round, maybe that could work. But the first round guys, those guys already have assistants walking to the door. It's a lose-lose situation. Not now. Back then, when I was a rookie, I carried bats.
Yeah.
No, that's all over. And when I was a rookie, I had a roommate too. So
yeah, I had a roommate for the first week of preseason until I went down to Jerry Krause. So I had Jeff Sanders, and we had so we're in Seattle. We got the rule was if the veterans were on the bus before we were late. Okay. Yeah. So I get a wake-up call. We're in Seattle. I got friends in Seattle. So I come in from dinner. It's like 9 o'clock. I get a wake-up call because we had to be on the bus. We're leaving at 10 o'clock to go shoot around. So I get a wake-up call like 8 o'clock because I want to eat breakfast. This is my first time being on the road, so I want to make sure I'm ready to go and be on time. So Jeff comes in after I do. I'm in the bed, I'm asleep. He goes in and tells the people at the front desk, I'd like to get a wake-up call. I said, what time, Mr. Sanders? Your roommate already got a wake-up call. It's at 8 o'clock. Oh, that's too early. How about 9:50? Okay, now if we got to be on the bus at 10 o'clock and you're getting a wake-up call at 9:50, and you're sitting on the 23rd floor, there's no way in the world you're going to make that time. After you brush your teeth, put your clothes on, there's no way you're going to make that. So we end up being late. Everybody's on the bus. We walk on the bus. Jerry Krause in the front bus. All the guys are cackling. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Well, put the kitty. You got money in the kitty. You know, they're just talking trash. So Phil goes, "What happened to you rookies? Why are you late?" And I didn't want to say Jeff right then and there. I didn't want to get him in trouble.
Yeah.
We didn't get our wake-up call.
You didn't get a wake-up call? What do you mean you get a wake-up? All you got to do is go down to the front desk, tell them you want a wake-up call at whatever time. There's no excuse. Don't be late again. So then Jerry comes after we had practice. He says, "Why were you late? Why were you late?" And I said, "Jerry," I said, "listen, I'm gonna tell you the truth why we're late." I said, "I cannot room with Jeff Sanders anymore. That's it." Because remember, Bill, he was always late to everything. And I was like, "No, I can't do this, man." I said, "Room me with BJ or I'll pay extra to be in a room by myself." I said, because I had a wake-up call at 8 o'clock. He changed it to 9:50. We had to be downstairs at 10. How in the world were we going to get there on time? He said, "Why didn't you wake up instinctively?" I said, "Jerry, I'm in the bed. It's dark. You got the darkening shades. It's dark. People go to sleep. I'm still thinking it's midnight. I didn't know it was like 9. And then I wake up, and I'm like, "Hey, man, did the phone ring?" He's like, "Yeah, we got a wake-up call." I said, "But I had one at 8 o'clock. What time was yours?" "Oh, 9:50. "Oh, man, we can make it."
His name was Sleepy Sanders. What do you
Well,
expect?
Bill, I learned very early. I didn't even get out of preseason. I had my own room after that.
Well, I should inform you that in about
What
a
the
week and a
hell?
half, I'm going to see Jeff Sanders.
Are you?
So, yeah. So I'm going to run this story.
Yeah, you
by
run it by him. You run it by him. You run it by old Sleepy Sanders, Colonel Sanders. Okay? Are you coming to Chicago? Oh,
coming
Lord.
to Chicago.
Siri's talking to me.
That's another fine.
Siri, it's enough, Siri.
Stacy's doing his Siri business in the middle of the show.
Bill, here's what I always wanted to ask you. Okay, so as a player in New York, you're playing with the Knicks, and you get a chance to see Michael Jordan come into this league. You know, you get a chance to see him as a player, a young player come in this league. What was your impressions of seeing him and his athleticism and the aura that he brought coming into the league, being a player that's watching him from afar, and then getting traded to Chicago and playing in his now pretty much his second go around. Basically, his first 7 years, you know, you were watching it from afar, and then you come here now and you see him now up close. What was your impressions when you were watching him as a Knicks player?
I thought he was a really good, young, exciting player. Now, this is my perspective on playing basketball in the league. Because I grew up, who's on my wall? I got Jerry West. I got Wilt. I got a picture of Cream shooting a hook. So when I came in the league, who are the guys that I admired? I'm playing against Wes Unsell. I'm playing against Dan Issel. Here's Cream. Here's Jack Sigma. My second game I played against Doc. And by the way, I blocked his shot. I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. So when I came to the league, those guys were my heroes. So now I come to Chicago. It's like, what was it? You know, people are like, what was it like to play against Mike? And I'm like, he was a good young player. So to me, my heroes are the guys that I played and saw when I was a kid. The rest of you guys are just young kids. You guys are young kids. You guys are, I couldn't be enamored by you young kids, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw John Havlicek play, right? Bob Cousy. I met Bill Russell when I was in high school. So I was supposed to be impressed by these young guys. Get out of here. My heroes are behind me. You know, that I had a chance to spend 2 hours with Willie Mays. You want to impress me? Come on in this room. Let's talk Willie Mays. Young guys, sorry. Now, I have appreciation for talent, which Michael had incredible talent. I have a strong appreciation for that. I love to win, probably more than anybody you ever meet. But sorry, you're all young guys. And, I have appreciation for you, but you can never be those guys to me. So that was my feeling coming in.
That's interesting because like when I came in the league, I grew up like idolizing Dr. J, and watching him play, and just thought he was the greatest player I'd ever seen. And I couldn't Kareem, seeing them on TV all the time, and the Seattle Supersonics, because back then you'd only TV games were like tape delayed, and you didn't see him live, and you're watching Seattle, you're watching the Lakers, Phoenix Suns, the teams out west that were really good, and then you got Philadelphia and Boston, and Washington. I mean, I only thought there was 3 teams in each conference when I first started watching as a kid, because I grew up in a football state. So when I started watching the NBA, I just remember those 6 teams, and I remember Andrew Toney from if he would not have gotten injured, Bill, Andrew Toney would have gone down as one of the great shooters of all time. I do believe, because I saw him play live. He had a cousin in the military that was stationed in my hometown, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And my dad called me. He's like, "Hey, you want to see what an NBA player looks like?" Because I'd always talked about going to the NBA. I want to be in the NBA. I want to be in the NBA. And he said, "Hey, you want to see what an NBA player looks like? You want to see if you're going to be good enough to be in the NBA? Come down and watch this kid." And I was like, "Who?" And he said, "Andrew Toney from the Sixers is here right now, and he's putting on a clinic in pickup games." And so me and my high school buddies went down to go see him play, and I was just like blown away the level of like where he was and where everybody else he played. Now you got to remember, a lot of those guys in military could have went and played college ball. They were good high school basketball players, so they had to go in the military for whatever reason, insurance purposes for a family, whatever. So they had to give up their basketball dream. So most of those guys come from New York, California, big cities, that they were really good basketball players. I mean, I learned how to play basketball playing with older men, playing against soldiers. And to watch Andrew Toney come down there, I mean, he played like 12 games to like 11, did not lose one single game, scored almost 9 to 10 points every single game. And if you got to talking trash to him, he'd just destroy you. And I was sitting there going, wow, this is what it looks like to be an NBA player. Like, he just jump shot, handles, could finish at the rim, dunk the basketball, could do all the things that you saw him do in Philadelphia, and you see it up close, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to do this, what he's doing, because he just put on a clinic. And when I got in the league, Dr. J was gone. He retired, and then Larry Bird was like right at the end of his career. That whole, Boston team was hurt and banged up, so they weren't the same. So Kareem had retired, so it was kind of disappointing for me when I got in the league, because I'm like, man, all the guys I idolize are gone. They're not here. So you got to play against a Kareem in his prime and all these other great players, Wes Unsell, who people don't give a lot of credit to. He might have been the greatest, non-center player. Like, as far as his height, 6'8", 6'9", that could rebound, was all world, and people don't give him his credit. Talk a little bit about all those guys, Bill.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Wes, because as a young guy, I'm a rookie. I'm coming like I'm 21, 22 years old. I can hit somebody really hard. So I remember playing a game against Wes, and Wes, he didn't even try to really block me out. He was just kind of in the vicinity. So I'm thinking the shot's going to go up, and I'm just going to knock the hell out of him and just get the rebound. So, and I got to tell you something. Shot went up. I hit him good. And he did not move an inch. And I still remember that. I was like, wow, this guy is like a tree.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was just really just tough. And what I respected from this one game, because I had to guard Elvin Hayes that game.
Oh, wow.
And coming out of school, I really scored. So I was scored on it on Elvin, and so went, scored, and go on the free throw line. Wes Unsell turns to Elba Hayes and says, "Hey, get your mind together." And I thought, wow, he's straightening out Elvin Hayes. Are you kidding me? So it was like this guy was the ultimate. He had respect. He was a really good player. But if he could tell Elvin Hayes to get his mind right, that dude, that's strong.
Yeah.
That's really strong. So, but just being able to be in that league, and you said it yourself, my rookie year, that's when Magic and Bird came in. So that's when the league basically changed.
Yeah.
Those two guys at that point in time, they changed the league because our league was kind of thuggish before then. Those guys came in, and then everybody jumped on board. Whatever formula those two guys have, they have the same formula that nobody's been able to figure out until Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Mike. We don't know why everybody loves Caitlin Clark. We don't know why. She's not a glamour girl. She's not the best player in the league, but everybody on the planet, playing basketball or not, they love her. So that's what Magic and Bird had coming in. Everybody loved those guys, and they changed the league. So it was a really special time to be part of the league, to see the league's growth. Everybody was excited. We had great crowds. We didn't play in great buildings. The Garden was great. Boston Garden stunk. Terrible. It was either hot or cold. San Antonio was terrible. The stadiums were just older and needed a lot of work. But the league was great. Being in the league, just great legendary players. It was just a great time to be there.
Hey, before I let you go, Bill, we got to let Tim Kelley get his question in. Tim, what do you got?
Hey, Bill, I'm going to read your book, but I just got to know if it's in there. And since we were talking about Jordan earlier, you're the one guy who put him in his place for respect. Can you tell that story about when you said, hey, you may never play basketball again if you do this again?
I don't like to tell Michael stories because Stacey knows I'm an old school guy.
Yeah.
Whatever happens between us is between us. But I think the big thing is that, with me, I'm going to speak my mind, and I'm not going to say a lot, but don't wait. And just make sure that we get everything straight, and then just kind of go from there. But Michael, just like Stacey, Pip, Horace, we're all different, but we have the same goals. The goals to win a championship. So, and some of us click more because we're the same age. Like I said, I was the old guy. And plus, I had kids. I had 4 kids. So when you guys were going out, you guys were partying, I'm going home with the kids and hanging out there. So just different times. But with that group we have, what made us special is that I thought our owner was great. Jerry did his job. We had the best players in the league. We had the best. I call them second group of starters to come in. Guys were able to come in and make their contributions. And our goal was to win a championship. And what a special time. So everything I have for all of my teammates is only positive.
Yeah.
So before Stacey gets going here, this is my book. And this
Yes,
is
indeed.
It's on the show here. Bill Cartwright, Living Life at the Center. I self-published this book myself. Me and my wife wrote it. My wife Sherry and I wrote it. It's not on Amazon. That's right. I'm doing it myself. So that's at bill-cartwright.com.
There you go.
I send you this book. I want you to read it, just like the old days with Phil.
Yeah.
I didn't read those books either, so don't bother. I told him I didn't read it either. I'm gonna mail you this book today.
Mail it to me.
bill-cartwright.com.
And we'll also promote it. I'll promote it on my IG and make sure people know where to get it as well.
Awesome.
Man, you keep living the dream, man. You look good. Teach.
We want you to know that everybody loves you, man. We follow you. Everybody quotes you. I think you yourself have brought back hot sauce, so I don't know how that works.
Did we give you hot sauce before? Did you get some?
No, I didn't get nothing.
Wow.
We'll get you some hot sauce.
We'll get our hot sauce packer who's in charge of doing this. Pack you some hot sauce today. We'll send you a double order since you didn't get it the first time.
That's right. I want some sauce, I get in there and put it on a steak, a burger, whatever you got.
You can do it all, Bill. It's the best hot sauce you'll ever taste. I'm telling you.
Awesome. I'm going to look forward to it.
Well, tell the kids I said hello. It was good talking to Sherry, too. Tell her I said hello again. And when you come to Chicago, give me a call. Let's go do lunch.
Oh, we can do lunch. I'll tell you what, and I owe you a chicken certificate. I take that back. I thought I owed you a chicken certificate. I'll tell you what, I still got my restaurant in Highwood, Froggy's.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, so
well, let's meet up there.
Froggy's in Highwood.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me know when you come to town. I'll be here all summer.
All right. I'm going to be there in 2 weeks.
All right. I'll be here. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not getting on a plane till July.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got to get off the plane for, man. We fly so much. I'm like, man, I don't want to get on a plane anytime soon.
And by the way, your guy BJ is going to be in town, too, at the same time I am.
Oh, the same time?
Wow, that'll be quite a reunion.
I got to call his publicist next to the publicist to another publicist just to get in contact to him. Thank God I know his kids because I talk to Oscar all the time, and Oscar will relay messages to Beej when I need to get a hold of him.
Well, I don't know what you did with B because he calls me all the time.
Well, because you're right there. You're right there in his backyard now. He's forced to talk to you. You can just walk up to where he's at. You can drive it and just go see him.
All you gotta do is talk to B about cars and the Tigers. You'll be good to go.
Oh my goodness! This man, I tell you what, I'm gonna call him. Matter of fact, when we get off this show today, I'm gonna call him, tell him I talked to you. Because like I said, it's always great to talk to your former teammates, man. See how you doing. I was talking to Horace about a couple of weeks ago about, we got to spend more time as we're getting older. We got to, make sure that we make the rounds and check on everybody, man, and see how everybody's doing and get some laughs and, bring back some memories.
Yeah, well, you got some guys right there. You got Bill Winnington. You got Wooly J. Purdue right there.
Oh yeah, my boy Willis. Hey, I see him all the time. He's doing some good things here. He's got some good little projects going on. He stays involved with the team.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you, how's your golf game, by the way?
You know what, Bill? After having hip replacement surgery, I was Tiger King.
Sounds bad already.
I was Tiger King. I was really good on the links. I've been kind of scared to get out there because, the hip rotation, but I do have the hips of a 25-year-old, and I like the way that I've seen so far. And when I use my hips, wink, wink. So I think that if I get
here we go again.
Bill, this is a rated PG show. But since you brought it up, I got the hips of a 25-year-old America. You know what I mean?
I did not bring that up.
Well, I'm just letting you know. So now I feel confident that I can go out on the golf course and be Tiger King again.
Wow. Well,
and just remember, Bill, she'll like it too.
Wow.
I think it's time to wrap it up. Bill Cartwright, our special guest on the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast.
Bill, we're gonna get you some hot sauce.
Yeah, we'll
bud.
send that out to you, Bill. And again, pick up his book, Bill Cartwright, Living at the Center. You can get it at bill.cartwright.com.
no, Bill-Cartwright.
Bill-Cartwright.
Way to give out false information, Mark.
We had it on the screen. It'll be good. Thanks, Bill.
I'll see you in 2 weeks, Billy C.
All right, guys.
Take it easy, bud. Thanks for coming on.
Fun catching up with Bill Cartwright.
That's my guy.
We're coming back. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs and more as we finish up this week's episode of Gimme the Hot Sauce. A lot of fun catching up with Bill Cartwright. Before we continue on, I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, our good buddy, Jeff Vukovic. He can take care of all your insurance needs Auto, Home, and Business. You know how to reach him. Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. He's at jeffvuk.com. Phone number 847-825-4783. We should have had Bill Cartwright sing the jingle with you.
You know what?
I don't know if he would have. I don't know if he would have gone along with that.
I don't know if he'd been on the show. We'd done that.
Just singing this, Bill.
Come on, man.
You can do it.
He cursed me. I lost my voice doing that. Nationwide is on your side.
Thank you, Bill.
Stacey always talks about throat punches.
Oh,
Bill Cartwright would have been the king of the
dude, I can tell you so many stories, boy. I used to mimic Bill all the time. Like one time we were in Philadelphia and they had the mic down where the announcers thing and it was live, it was active mic. And I went over there and got on the mic and I started saying, "Hey, you little rookies, get your ass." And I started mimicking Bill. And he took a basketball and hummed that ball like 30 feet and almost took my head off. I was like, he's like, "You keep it up, I'm gonna get you." And I meant to ask him when I want to have him on the show. I want to ask him this question, like when his elbows are legendary.
Yes. Yep.
His elbows were like razors. Like if he was a UFC fighter, he might be a champion because he'd have people cut, right? So we're in training camp and he's new there. I'm new. And so like all of a sudden we're doing this drill where you have to deny the wing. So the post pops out to the floor about 15, 18 feet to 3-point line. And the defender has to deny him the ball and then deny the ball from the entry and then back cut. You got to deny him. So I was so much quicker than Bill. So every time Bill stepped out to get the ball, I'd steal it. I just shoot the gap and steal it. Yeah. And I did like 3 times. And he said, "Hey, rookie, come here. Come here, let me tell you something." And I said, and I was, I'm trying to prove myself, right?
Of course.
I'm like, "What?" I'm just being smart. "What?" He's like, "Hey, let me tell you something. Come here. If you do that again, I got something for you." And I'm like, "What do you got for me? What are you going to do?" "Do it again and you'll see." So the very next play, I'm like, "This man ain't going to intimidate me. I'm going to do it again. It ain't my fault you can't get the ball. I'm just doing what they tell me to do, not to pass." So he pops back out. I'm getting ready to shoot the gap again. I'm going full bore to get the ball is looking like a beach ball. Yeah. It's so big. It's an easy steal. As I reach to go get it, he hits me right in the throat with one of those elbows.
That
took me down. I thought my Adam's apple was gone, bro. Seriously. I was on the ground writhing in pain for about 15 minutes. And then I was on the ground. I had ice. As I was sitting there in ice, I had ice on my throat. I was sitting on the sideline. He walks over there. It was a break in action. He said, "Hey, you okay?" I'm like, "You asshole. You son of a..." He's like, "I told you I had something for you if you did it again." So I learned very early not to mess with Bill Cartwright. Don't mess with him, man. And I tell you what, man, he's one of the best teammates that you ask anybody. One of the best teammates that we've ever had, ever played for. Doesn't get enough credit on those championship teams because, Michael and Scotty got all the attention. But him and Horace together was a very good tandem, and they don't get enough credit. So shout out to Bill. He's getting my flowers.
So do you want to answer Tim's question about the run-in with Michael, or you want to keep that private?
Listen, man, as they say, some things are left better unsaid. But I'm going to say it anyway. I'm like an old refrigerator. I can't keep nothing in, okay?
You're a witness.
And I'm a witness. I was right there. Okay, it goes back to, Bill was he was very quiet. He's a quiet leader, okay? But you knew that he was like Mount St. Helens. Like if you said anything to him or did, he would explode. He would let you, you'll hear about it. He'll let you know what he feels, So we're playing Cleveland. It was the year after Michael hit the game-winning shot. Sometimes I dream, that song, all that stuff. Yeah. Okay, I drink Gatorade. Okay. Well, we weren't drinking Gatorade that night, okay? So Michael's having a hell of a game. It was the night where Michael had 69, and I had to quote this famous
the old
quote.
Richfield Coliseum.
Yeah. So it's like, this tonight, I'll remember me and Michael combined it for 70. Michael has 69, I have 1, okay? So during that time, there was a stretch where Michael was just on fire, okay? And Michael sometimes had the tendency, because he could hang up in the air for so long, and that's not an overstatement. That's the truth. I mean, he had serious hang time. And a lot of times, like, when you play with a guy like that, you don't know if he's going to shoot it, if he's going to pass it at the last second. So, like, I learned early, like, just follow the ball. Don't turn your head and go rebound. Just follow him and just go. Well, Bill's old school. Shot goes up, Bill's turning, he sees you shooting, I'm going to get the rebound and get inside position and get the board. So Michael always with Bill would hold the ball to the very last second when he didn't have a clear shot, and he'd fire this pass to Bill within like 4 to 5 feet. So Bill wouldn't catch it. It would, hit his hands or bounce off. And so, it was a timeout, and they're walking to the bench, and Michael is berating Bill. Just, you got to catch the effing ball. You got to do this. You're just screaming at him. Now, you got to remember, Bill's the older statesman. He's the eldest player on his team, okay? And he's seen Michael berate guys, And so here he is now being berated by a young Michael Jordan. So he's walking off the side. He's yelling at him, screaming, catch the damn ball. I'm never going to throw you a ball again. So, and then it got a little bit more intense. And then finally Bill just snapped. And he says, hey, let me tell you something. You ever talk to me like that again, I'm going to rip your damn head off. No one talks to me like that. You'll never talk. And then Michael's face, like you thought he saw a ghost, because he did not expect that reaction from Bill, because Bill is such a mild-mannered guy. And, man, I was at the score table getting ready to check in, and he scared me. I didn't, I got hit in the throat by the guy, so I already knew what to expect. But to see him go at Michael Jordan and put him in his place and let him know, like, hey, yeah, you're a great player, and we all need you to be great, but you're not going to talk to me that way. And he got the respect from Michael Jordan from that point on and the rest of the championship run.
So there's your story, Tim. That's
there's
the one.
Tim.
That's the one you were
Bill
looking
didn't
for.
want to tell the
That's
story.
what I'm
Bill
talking
didn't want to tell the story because, he's like, we live by a code
Yeah.
in that era of NBA. What goes on in the locker room stays in the locker room. And I'm sure if we would have had, you got the last dance, if they would have had the first dance, we would have had all these stories out. But Bill keeps to the code, man. But I don't.
Well,
I'll tell it.
It goes with what he was saying. I wasn't enamored by the young guys. I was
Yes.
the guys
sure.
ahead of me.
Yes.
So he's like, hey, you're not talking to me
He
this
played
way.
against the
Yes.
all-time greats.
And that was really funny to hear because, and I respect that because you do come in. He came up in a different era.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come up with all
That
these
was
high.
the big man
Yeah,
era,
it was the big man era. He didn't come in. He was a big man, so he didn't come up with all these high flyers like Dominique and MJ and all these athletic guards. It was always bigs, and he saw Dr. J, and I always wanted to know what it would have been like playing against Kareem, and I couldn't wait to get to the NBA for that.
Every team wanted to have that aircraft carrier in the middle.
Yeah,
And he was
yeah,
battling.
yeah.
Remember, he came to New York. There was a guy named Marvin Webster.
Marvin
They used to
Webster.
call him the Great Eraser.
Yeah.
And Bill and Marvin Webster were splitting time.
Yeah.
And then Bill eventually beat him out and got all
Yeah.
the minutes. But, every team had at least one, if not
Yeah,
two,
at least two. Most
7-footers.
teams, yeah, two
physical
7-footers.
guys that would just
Yes.
battle. And everything revolved around the low post play.
When you go back and you look at that era, you're looking at guys like James Donaldson, 6'11", 300 pounds. Everybody was Shaq size. Wes Unsell,
Talk about Bob Lanier.
Bob Lanier, you go down the line, man, and you see all these big guys, and Kareem, who wasn't a big guy, but was such a offensive force that you couldn't stop him. And watching these guys on TV, and like I said, I grew up in Oklahoma. All the games were tape delayed. They didn't have live games.
Right.
And so the only teams that we saw in Oklahoma that were on CBS was, the Lakers, you had Phoenix, and you had Seattle Supersonics. Those were the three teams. And then Portland kind of creeped in there too. So those four teams you saw from the West. And in the Eastern Conference, it was Boston, it was Philadelphia, and it was Washington. And I want to say maybe like, Atlanta or something like that, or no, I take that back. New Jersey, they had a decent team at that time. So those are the only 8 teams you saw in the NBA. You didn't see like you see now, where you got the NBA package, you can watch your favorite team. And so now you look back on that. When I came in this league, Larry Bird's last year. Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, these guys were on the way out. Dr. J had retired the year before. Kareem had retired 2 years before. So I didn't get a chance to play against guys I idolized, So the people I came in, Magic was still here, which was awesome, and Larry was still here. Larry was playing games. Most of the time he was laying on the floor because he had a bad back.
His back, yeah.
And that whole Boston dynasty was going down. And then, you had New York coming up, you had the Bulls coming up, you had Cleveland coming up, and then you had Detroit, who, surpassed Boston. So you had a whole different, young, hungry teams coming up during that time. All the old guard was leaving.
Yeah, so folks who are, if you're younger, not familiar with Bill's career, All-American in San Francisco, was an unstoppable scorer, came into the NBA, put up big numbers with the Knicks. So go back on YouTube, check out Bill Cartwright with the Knicks. You'll see a guy that just dominated.
Yeah, he's undervalued as far as, looking at what he brought to the table. Because I'm telling you right now, he was a stabilizer. Michael will always get the credit. Michael will always get the credit for those championship teams. Scotty will get his respect as well. But we don't win. They don't win. Maybe they don't win 3 without Bill. Bill was the anchor in that triangle offense. He was the guy they went out to go get. They made an unpopular trade by moving Charles Oakley to New York.
And Michael and Oakley were tight.
Yes, that was my. I mean, just like in hockey where you got that bodyguard that protects the star. Oakley was that guy for Jordan. Like you weren't going to throw him on the floor with Oakley being there. Oakley always had his back, and Oakley could play too. It wasn't like he was just some lug out there just being a bully. He could rebound. He could score. He was Dennis Rodman without all the stuff that Dennis brought to the table at a later part of his career. But it was an unpopular trade here in Chicago at the first because Jerry, and that's why I say Jerry Krause doesn't get enough credit. Of really putting that team together and getting the right pieces that would fit, that it would be cohesive unit. To go out there and get Bill Cartwright, they recognize, Tex Winter recognized you have to have a good post player to initiate that offense, to have someone that you can run through the post to make the right reads in that triangle offense. And Bill was the right guy to run it, and it ran like a machine. He was a great passer. He didn't get to score as much as he did in New York here. He had to make a sacrifice in his game to win rings. If you told Bill, I need 25 points out of you tonight, Bill, he'd get you 25 in the Bulls uniform. But that wasn't his role. His role was to rebound and defend. One of the best post defenders in that era, and doesn't get enough credit, shutting down Brad Daugherty's, the Patrick Ewings of the world, the guys that, young Shaqs that were giving people problems. He was a guy out there that was a neutralizer to those guys, not allowing those guys to go for 30 or 40 points. They might score 20, but they had to work for it.
Well, it's great catching up with Bill. We appreciate it coming on. Again, check out his book. You can get that through Bill-Cartwright.com.
There you go, Mark.
Don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah, you might have got throw. You might have got throw punched because he stopped you quick too. He stopped you quick. I was like, oh, Mark's announcing get ready to get a throw punch, baby.
Before we get out of here, we are recording this on Friday, so we don't know exactly how the Eastern Conference Finals are going to turn out. But for the sake of argument, let's look ahead to a potential Indiana-Oklahoma City Finals. You got this fast-paced Indiana team against the best defensive team in the league. This should be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot more interesting than people think. I don't think it's going to be Oklahoma City's going to have a cakewalk. I think, if they play New York, it's a much easier game because – New York doesn't have – they only go 6 deep. They only go 6 deep. But, Indiana plays 10, 12 guys, and they all contribute. They've got everyone that can match up defensively against everyone Oklahoma City plays. Your bigs, Turner and Obi Toppin, they're running, gunning guys. They can get out there and switch and guard, switch and pick and roll with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, move their feet. They're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. You look at their numbers and where they're ranked. They're not a fluke. I went back and looked at some of the early games that they played Oklahoma City. One game, Oklahoma City blew them out, but they didn't. I don't think they had everybody. They struggled early. They struggled early in the year. They were hurt, and they caught them early. The second game was a lot closer. It was more like single digits. It was a lot closer. Oklahoma City won. I think for Oklahoma City to win, they got to get those first 2 games. They got to come out. They're going to have a long layover. And those really affect teams.
Yeah, 8-day break.
Yeah, they got an 8-day break after having 2 competitive series. They, Minnesota should have been a little bit more competitive. Denver was competitive. They'd go 7 games. But I thought, with Minnesota that they would be a tougher matchup, and it was probably their easiest series, to be honest with you. They lose that 1 game, but then they came back and just whitewashed them the next game. So I think if Oklahoma City can get those first 2 games and get out and get off to a good start, it's going to be a short series. But I think if Indiana, which will be coming in, I think the series starts Thursday. So if in New York is playing Saturday, right? They play Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
So if they win, and which they should in Indiana, if they win, then they'll have a couple of days off, but they'll still be engine ready to go. They could go into Oklahoma City and steal a game or 2.
Yeah, you got a great coach in Rick Carlisle.
Yep.
As you mentioned, they've got depth. Oklahoma City's also a deep team. It's going to be interesting to see Oklahoma really plays kind of a Twin Towers look with Holmgren and Hartenstein. Indiana's a little bit smaller, so they may have trouble with Siakam in terms of trying to make sure that he doesn't score a lot of points.
Well, you know, it's good seeing Chet Holmgren back because you didn't know what Chet you were going to get back with the hip injury. And playing both of these guys at the same time, I'm telling you right now, you know, this is a copycat league. And don't be surprised if you don't see other teams starting to employ that. You know, playing two bigs at the same time, two versatile bigs, and especially if they win the championship. You know, Indiana can do the same thing. They could try, Turner out there. They could try, Obi Toppin playing those two guys. You know,
Toppin's been good in these playoffs.
Well, because they're playing his style of play, up and down. He wants to get out and run. Indiana struggles when you play half court. And that's where they'll struggle against Oklahoma City because Oklahoma City is they're like an anaconda. They'll just start to squeeze the life out of you. Their defense, and I said this all year when we were there, we saw them up close.
Yeah.
Best defensive team we've seen all season long. I mean, they get after you. And now you got Caruso, in which you see now. I'm glad everybody gets a chance to see Caruso on the national stage because we saw that here in his time here. The way he defends, he can just disrupt everything you want to do as a team. And what's amazing, what I see with him, and we've seen it here, he can guard any bigs, okay? But what the job he did on Joker in the later parts of that series and making him take shots he didn't want to take, wouldn't allow him to back him down, which is amazing because you're thinking, here you are, a 7-footer, 260, 70 pounds, and this is a 6'3" guard that you're not able to move. You're not able to get what you want. He's dictating. He's circling the post, three-quartering the post. I think people now realize how good Alex Caruso really, really is. And I can see why team, 2 years ago, there was rumor that somebody offered 2 first-round picks for him. I can see why they would do that because he is a game changer, man, defensively. The job he did on Julius Randle the last 2 parts of that series, he shut Julius Randle down. Julius Randle was posting at the three-point line with Alex Caruso, which is amazing because he's 6'9", 250 pounds, and he's a very good offensive player. And once you took him out the series, then they could focus on Anthony Edwards and run 3 or 4 guys at him, and it was the end of the series.
So the finals get started Thursday, June 5th, and if you're not a fan of series being stretched out, you're not going to love the finals. There's 2 days off after the first game, and then they travel. There's 2 more days off. It's just going to be stretched out forever. And you experience that. I mean, it's a national television audience. It's a worldwide media comes in. Those long breaks between games got to drive you crazy because you want to get out there and play.
Well, they've changed the format, though. It used to be the home team played 2 games, then you had to go to the other place and play 3, and then come back and play 2. Yeah. See, I like that. I like that because then, you play those first 2 games and you go out like we play in Portland or Phoenix or whatever, and you're out there, a pretty long time. And, the games do go a lot quicker when it's 3 games. So, but it's all about TV and it's all about the marketing and all the stuff that goes along with it. So they're going to stretch it out as long because, it's boring as hell in the summer. I mean, unless you're a big baseball fan, if you're a true basketball fan, there's nothing to watch. You'll be, you're like, oh man, I wish we were watching that Indiana Oklahoma City game now, even though it was, there weren't like 2 sexy teams. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a much better series than what people think. I do not.
What's the prediction?
I think. Listen, Oklahoma City should be favored because they've been the best team all season long. But I said this about Indiana when we did their games. I said if they can be healthy and they get everybody back, do not be surprised if they make a run, and they did. They went in. You look at the games that the playoff series that they've beaten. They've gone in there and beat Cleveland, who should have beaten them. Okay, who they play in the first round? Who they play in the first round?
Milwaukee.
Okay.
Milwaukee
well, they beat Milwaukee in 5. Yeah, Milwaukee was beat up, but it's still a Milwaukee team that could have won that if Dame Lillard doesn't go out. He came in the series not healthy with the blood clot, so. I don't really give that anything, but it still was a good win for them, good series win. And then you go into Cleveland, you have no shot, according to everybody else, because that's the number 1 seed. You got no shot. You start the first 2 games in a row. They completely shocked Cleveland, completely took Cleveland out of everything they wanted to do defensively and offensively, and they won that series. Now you see New York. New York's come in, and New York's been the team that's had to fight and come back from 20-point deficits and win games. What have we seen now? Indiana's had to come back and win games for 20 points, down from New York and come back and win games. Now, the key for them is if they come into Saturday's game and they let New York win that game in, a game 6, and now go to the game 7 in New York. It's a totally different game now because now New York knows they're back in it, their crowd's back in it, and you go 7 games. I don't want to go 7 games in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get there. So, what's your prediction for the finals, Tim?
Pain.
Who's going to win?
That's great. He said it's going to be a long series, it's going to be a short series.
No. Listen, don't get throw punch, man.
That's what you're trying to do here.
Listen, I'm trying to be diplomatic to the fans of both teams. Okay, I think Oklahoma City's going to win, but if it goes past, if it doesn't, it's not a quick series, then I give Indiana a puncher's chance. I do think it's going to go 7 games. I do think that because I think Indiana's style matches up with Oklahoma City. I think Oklahoma City wants to play fast, and Indiana wants to play fast. Now, the key is if Oklahoma City's defense can find a way to slow down. I'm sure they're watching the New York series. You go from blowing them out at home, and then you come back in game 5, and you get slowed down, and you get your offense is not running the way you have struggling playing half court offense. And that's what Oklahoma City's best at is really suffocating you.
Oklahoma City wins the series.
Yeah, and they're a year early.
Playing at half court.
They're a year early. They're not supposed to be in this position right now. They were in this position last year. And we always say with teams like this, young teams like this, you have to go through some adversity before you finally. They're shattering that myth. Because the one thing I like about them, Mark, is they are a close knit unit. To win a championship, people, I'm telling you, if your team is not together. And you're not a cohesive unit, you got 3 over here, 2 over here, 4, you're not going to win. If you watch these guys, man, they genuinely are pulling for each other. They want each one of these guys to do well. Mm-hmm. They support each and every one. They do an interview, they got the whole team doing an interview.
Right.
There's no jealousy. There's no pettiness. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander doesn't act like some spoiled superstar. Mm-hmm. He's like one of the guys. He bought all these guys Rolex watches. It cost like $100,000. These guys were part of his journey to be MVP.
It's not like you buy one taco, get 10 free.
Yeah, no. Or shop at Aldi's, baby. You're looking for Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. We get flakes or Frosty, baby. You want Pop-Tarts, you get Toastums, baby. No.
You were going to say something?
Shout out to Aldi's. We're looking for sponsors, baby. I'll eat some Toastums. I'll eat some flakes or Frosty, baby.
Where's Aldi's? I was going to go with the Sixers-Lakers story here with these guys. It's going to be Indiana wins the first game. Everyone goes, oh, my God, they got a chance. And then it's going to be 4 straight.
Okay, heard it here.
Okay,
Tim
you heard
Kelley
there.
See, that's called being specific, Mark.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, Mark, that's what's called in. Don't bet if you're better. Don't bet on anything he just said because you're going to lose a lot of money. Listen to what I said. I'm the professional. I'm the professional analyst.
Mr.
Let's
Kelley.
go with Stacey's. If it goes more than 5 games, it could be 7.
I'm a professional analyst. Where's my little button at? Oh, Cisco. You missed a cue, baby.
Before we get out of here, time for our regular feature. It's What Are We Watching? I'm going to start us off. This was a tough watch, I got to be honest with you. It's called The Brutalist.
Oh.
Adrian Brody plays an architect who escaped World War II, a Jewish architect. He was able to escape the Nazis, comes to the United States, and tries to become an architect in this country. And a brutal story about all the ups and downs he had to go through to try to find his way. We remember Adrian Brody played Pat Riley in Winning Time. So this is a much different role.
Listen, he could have got a better Pat Riley. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
He wasn't no Pat Riley.
So anyway, this movie's 3.5 hours long. So I watched it in 3 different sittings. It's a tough watch.
3.5 hours.
So that was really describing the audience. You were brutalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 hours.
It's a high quality movie, but it's a tough watch.
Oh man. Watch some of it on Monday. Come back on Thursday. Watch the other half, and then Sunday watch the remainder of it. Yeah, I've been there. I know what that means. Yeah. I know.
Got through it though.
Yeah, I got through it. Yeah, I should have got an award at the end.
Yeah. Did he win some awards?
It did win some Academy Awards.
Golden Globes Academy Award.
Golden Gloves.
Gold Gloves.
Won the Toastums Award. It was Aldi's favorite.
Hey, Flakes are frosted. Oh, baby. They got a whole year supply of Flakes are frosted, baby.
Won the Folgers Award and needed 4 cups of coffee.
So you guys have some more fun stuff to watch for the folks.
Yeah, who's up next?
What do you got, Cisco? Cisco says your choice. Oh, go ahead, Stace.
I'm watching Supernatural. It's about these two brothers. You see them right there, the two big head guys. They're starting to chase. In the beginning, they start to chase ghosts and all these all these different things, and then it gets kind of demonic, and angels get involved later on. It's like 24 seasons of this. Like,
wow.
It's a really top rated show. A lot of people love it. I just got caught in. My son had been telling me about it, and like, you should watch Supernatural. You like all these zombies and stuff like that. So I started watching it, and I'm like sitting there after year 10, and I'm like, Jesus, this keep going on.
It's not the same actors, is it?
The whole thing. They follow these brothers. The one was born. It's really crazy how the devil's involved. Okay, the devil is.
Stacey watches has got the devil involved. You know?
The devil's like, listen, man.
Where's your big cross?
Listen, man. You know what? That's uncalled for and unnecessary. Okay. See, that's why y'all were left off of the 10 Sexiest Men in Montana, because it acts like this. Okay. You have to be supportive of what I watch. Okay. It beats watching Debbie Does Dallas. Okay. Watching any of that stuff like Tim watches. Okay. All right, I really watch really good shows. I watched The White Lotus. I finished watching The White Lotus. You finished watching that?
Yeah.
It was the ending kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared for that one. Okay, what's our little mob movie we watched too?
Mobland.
Mobland. That's getting. Oh, man, we got a ton of stuff for y'all to watch. But I'm done right now. Supernatural. Check it out. I guarantee you'll like it. If you get into like ghost and paranormal activity, that kind of stuff.
And it's only 24 seasons, so it won't take you long.
Yeah, you can drag that out for a couple of years. You don't got to watch it all at once, baby.
You can't be.
You don't need to like binge watch it.
Stretch it out.
Just stretch it out. Go cut the grass. Go barbecue. Come back, watch another episode. Go wash the dishes. Hey, go to bed.
It's time for another episode.
It's time for another episode.
All summer.
You got something to do.
All right, Tim, you're up.
All right, Tim.
I watched the Bob Dylan biopic, Complete Unknown.
Yeah, I was curious if that was any good.
Well, I'm not a fan of his at all, and what was nice about this is
Bob Dylan or Timothy Chalamet?
Either.
Okay.
But,
he's courtside at those Knicks Pacers games.
yeah, he looks pretty excited. Who knew he was a New Yorker?
Is he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bob Dylan?
No.
Oh.
No, Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, okay. Bob Dylan's still alive,
Bob
though,
Dylan's
right?
The courtside. Oh,
yeah. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our lives.
Very nice.
This is about before he started mumbling.
Oh,
He
my.
actually
How he
sang
started
words,
his career and how
Was he
became-
really singing?
Yeah, Chalamet does all the singing in it, and then the girl who plays Joan Baez does all the singing. So it's really well done, well acted.
Oh, man, check
And
it out.
I did come to a newfound respect for Bob Dylan for how he started his
You know, it was a courtside with Chalamet yesterday.
Who's that?
One of the Jenner girls.
That's his girlfriend.
It's his girlfriend.
Yeah, so see, he's getting dragged down.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's over now.
Guys keep
listen.
making the same
You don't
mistakes.
realize
Right?
your
Listen,
career is
but
over
yeah,
after that.
you didn't follow the playbook. Run. It's like Final Destination when you get with a Kardashian, baby. Your career is never the same. Where's the basketball player? What's his name? Chris.
He's falling off the face of the earth. Chris Humphries. Chris
Where the
Humphries.
hell is Chris Humphries at?
Nobody knows.
Nobody
When you
knows.
see when basketball players are running down the court to either team, they like,
Oh,
They don't wanna get
yeah. Want to shake their hand? Oh, that's okay.
That's all right.
That's all right.
I
Yeah.
don't need to catch that.
But I was watching the episode where they were talking about We Are the World and how they made that and all these people.
right.
Remember
That's
that?
good, yeah.
And then they had all these Michael Jackson. They were talking about Michael Jackson didn't want certain people on there. And so Bob Dylan was one of the people they didn't want on there, and Cyndi Lauper. And so when you watch them do their part, and then you hear all the other people, you're like, oh, because like a lot of times like they didn't have the music, they were just singing.
Right.
And so when you hear their voices, like Bob Dylan, he was mumbling, we were saving all of love is to make a better world for you and me. And I'm like, oh my God. And then Cyndi Lauper, it's a time. I'm like, who is this?
And that's a
you-
good documentary
And
to
you
watch
watch
too, by the
Michael
way.
Jackson in the background. Michael Jackson's like,
Yeah. Come on now.
oh. Hey, y'all gotta watch it. You watched it? You seen it?
Yeah, I like
Oh,
that.
man,
It was
that
really
was
good.
awesome.
Michael belts out, and then you see like Bono turn and look at him like, what?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Oh,
That's a
Al
good-
Jarreau. They had a lot of great. And
Oh,
Prince was supposed to be in there, but Prince didn't want to work with Michael Jackson.
Right.
That's why he wasn't there. So Sheila E. got in there in Prince's spot. Prince is everywhere. They got Prince in the court in the Diddy case now. They said Prince is testified in there saying that he had told Diddy to stop doing what he was doing, and that he was gonna get in trouble one day. And then next thing you know, then he wrote a little letter saying if something happened to me, Diddy did it.
Oh man.
What?
What a great way to end this week's episode. Stacey
No
King
Diddy, baby.
uncovers
Oh, Lord.
secret truths. of
Oh
the
my
past.
goodness, baby.
Jeez.
Oh, secret truths of the past, baby. No
Statute
baby
of
will.
limitations.
No baby will, baby.
It applies
No
for
baby
Bill
will.
Cartwright, but not to Stacey King.
Oh no! And let's get Bill Cartwright his hot sauce.
Yeah, make sure he
An
gets there.
address.
Wow!
Usually
I'm gonna get his address, buddy.
Okay, you get it.
See, I'm
Hey.
starting to find out this later on. That, hey, you all right? Heimlich?
No.
You
He's
get
been
a
struggling
Heimlich?
the whole
He's
thing.
struggling
Yeah.
over here. You all
Yeah, I
right,
know,
buddy?
It's been a rough week of allergies
Oh
and
man!
everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we was losing you right there. I thought I was gonna have to do the Heimlich on you, buddy.
So make sure you get your hot sauce.
Yeah.
Go to GimmeTheHotSauce.com. Tim will pack it up.
And
get
it's
it to
the
you in
best
3
hot
years.
sauce you'll ever taste. And it's barbecue season right now. Aren't we doing something? Aren't we doing a smoke out or something? What are we doing?
Oh, next week we'll be at the Rib Fest and what's it, Lake? What do you call it, Lake Moore or whatever it is?
We're in the
Way
Rib
to have your
Fest.
facts.
North Chicago, the Rib Fest. Here, look.
The Rib Fest, baby.
Here, we do a.
They invited us out there, baby.
well,
The
they
hot
changed it.
sauce.
It's not Naperville anymore. It's
Yeah, it used to be Naperville.
so let's see.
Wait not to have it ready, Tim.
Yeah.
America,
He
we'll be
wasn't
out
ready.
the Rib Fest, baby. Come out and taste it.
North Center neighborhood.
Where?
That's really specific, Tim.
Yeah, I know.
North Center neighborhood.
You got a website they can go to for more information?
Lincoln and Damon and Irving Park. What does that mean?
Irving Park, okay.
Oh, I guess it's in that triangle there.
Yeah.
Tim's on top of it.
He's on top
Yeah.
of it.
Hey, you got it now. So that's Friday, 5 to 10, Saturday, and Sunday, 12 to 10.
Come out there to the booth and taste the hot sauce, baby.
And she'll like
And
it too.
she'll like it too.
That's going to do it for this week's episode. Our thanks to Cisco for running the board, making
Way to
sure
go,
we,
Cisco.
we're keeping everything honest.
We
Thanks
got a
for the
sweatshop
graphics,
going on
and
out here,
we
man. We're working
appreciate
Cisco to death.
Bill
Look at him.
Cartwright. It was great catching up with Bill. Some stories of the past, and make sure you get his book.
What is it
Order it
called,
now.
Mark? Where is it? Where can you get it?
Bill-Cartwright.com. Stacey,
Yeah,
time
yeah.
to go.
Time to go. Drive home safely, Chicago. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
Beep, beep.
He didn't come for the massage, he came for the facial.
Does anybody know how to post videos to Facebook?
There's a block right behind you to get the invitation.
That's a huge three.
Mustard!
Lonzo left alone.
Sauce.
Able to swerve, bend that corner.
That's the last time I'm going to see it. Will